Jim, very simply, just give us your thoughts first of all, just going into a huge game.
Look, there's an opportunity there to get a semi-final, and to get a day out at Hampden for our supporters, something that's not happening for a considerable period of time. The last time the club were there was during COVID, and obviously there was no fans in attendance, and I think you've got to go back maybe 9 or 10 years before the last time they've had the opportunity to experience that. So that's a huge incentive for us, and obviously, for our group of players, a number of players new to the Scottish game and will have never played at Hampden before. So there's a lot of different incentives there for everyone, but we're prepared for a really difficult game. We know how good a team Motherwell are. They were on a very good run of form prior to the Aberdeen game, and I watched the game back. They were very unfortunate, I thought, maybe not to have taken something from the game on the day. So they carry an attacking threat. Stuart Kettlewell's teams are always very well organised out of possession, and I think it's two decent teams going at it, and it should make for a very entertaining game, hopefully.
You mentioned it's been a while since the club were able to go to Hampden with fans. I know this is something that we've touched on a few times over the last 12 months or so, but it would be a great reward for the fans, wouldn't it? After what's been maybe a difficult few years for them to get the big day out at the National Stadium, wouldn't it?
It definitely would, yeah. And I've touched on that, recently about how loyal the supporters have been. They've stuck with the club through thick and thin, particularly off the back of the relegation. They travelled in great numbers when we were playing away from home last season. And Friday night's no different. I'm led to believe we've sold in excess of 2,000 tickets already, and I would expect another maybe 300, possibly 400 fans to go between tickets to go between now and Friday. So they're a credit to the club. They've always stuck with the team, and they've always got behind us, and that's going to be really, really important on Friday evening. To turn up there. I love Friday night football anyway. I think a lot of players do, but we experienced a lot of it last season in the Championship, and it's always great. You've got football under the lights with a good atmosphere, hopefully generated by both sets of supporters, and no doubt our fans will make a difference as well.
It's been such a positive start to the season. Has the result of the weekend, you sensed, done anything to dampen any of that optimism that was building?
No, it hasn't really, to be honest. I thought it was clear for everyone to see that the shape of the team wasn't working in the opening 10 minutes, and I thought once we changed it, the reaction to going a goal behind was really positive. We were able to get a little bit higher up the pitch and be a bit more aggressive in our press, and I thought the second half was really, really good, to be honest. And but for a little bit of luck and a break of the ball from a set play or something, we might have taken something from the game. But I'm not arguing the fact that Rangers were the better team on the day and created the better chances. But I've been in games like that where there's not a great deal of clear-cut chances for either team, and we could have took something, but it certainly hasn't derailed us in the slightest. We accept the mistakes that we made in the game, and we learn from them, and we try and make sure that we improve going into the game on Friday evening.
And just finally, you mentioned there's a number of players, new players to Scottish football in your squad. As part of your kind of team talk, you build up to this one, is it kind of your job to point out the opportunity that's there for them? Because a lot of players perhaps don't get the chance to play at Hampden, but there's an opportunity there for both teams, but it's about going out and grasping it.
Well, that was one of the big selling factors in the summer when when we're doing the recruitment process and talking to these players and trying to sell the Scottish game to them, and explain to them that this is a good place for them to come and play their football. It's games like Sunday, against Rangers, and trips to some of the big stadiums like Parkhead and Tynecastle and things like that. But also, explaining to them that we have got aspirations and ambitions of our own to try and do well in both cup competitions, and we've given ourselves a great chance up to now. But we're well understanding of the challenge that lies in front of us. I'm pretty sure Stuart Kettlewell would have been as pleased as I was when the draw was produced, because obviously you want to try and avoid the so-called bigger clubs in the league, and he'll be looking at this as a winnable game, as are we. And I think that's what's going to be exciting about the game on the night, is who's going to come out on top.
Team news?
apart from Ryan Strain, everybody else is good.
You mentioned the change of tact sort of half hour into the game against Rangers. Are you likely to change things up going into this game? You know, we saw Docherty coming on and making an impact in that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've shown good flexibility within the group in all of the games that we've played. You know, we've spoken about the system a lot, and you know, the 3-4-3 has worked well. But you know, away to Hearts, you know, the last half an hour of the game, we changed to a 3-5-2 and brought Moult and Dalby on, and they were excellent. And obviously on Sunday, you know, the players have shown that they can adapt within games as well to go to a 4-3-3. So you know, it's our job as staff to make sure that the players are understanding of all the different changes that might happen during a game, and we have to be able to react at any given time. And you know, that's what we've tried to do in the recruitment process. We've got a number of players in the squad that can play a number of different positions, and you know, we have to be flexible at all times. So yes, absolutely, the way that we played on Sunday has given us food for thought, and you know, the way that we line up on Friday is something that everybody will have to wait and see.
And of course, you know, you have a lot to fight for being back in the Premiership this season, but I mean, where does this cup competition rank? You know, how important is this in terms of your goals this season?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's high on the agenda for us, there's no doubt about that, but you know, similarly to probably 80% of the rest of the Premiership, you know, the bread and butter is the league, and you know, we have to make sure that we get enough points on the board to make sure we maintain the Premiership status for next season. You know, I've said that numerous times, but that doesn't mean that we don't have other ambitions within, you know, and I think we have to aim to try and go far in both cup competitions, and if we could get to the semi-final, I think that would be a good achievement for the group, such a new group. But at the same time, we've got to overcome a very difficult challenge in Motherwell first on Friday night. So yeah, we're pleased with the start that we've had. You know, there's good confidence within the group, and as I said, you know, the previous question, the result on Sunday, you know, hasn't derailed that confidence or momentum within the group. We just have to try and start another unbeaten run on Friday night.
And as you say, it is a new group, and a lot's been made of the new faces that have come in. But you know, we're speaking to Declan Gallagher there, and he feels he's playing his best football he's ever played. How pleased are you with the players that were here already, and do you feel they've sort of risen to the challenge in front of them?
Well, I have talked about that as well in previous press conferences. A lot of people, you know, talking about the new signings and, you know, the guys who have maybe grabbed the headlines in terms of goals and goals contributions. But you know, not a lot has been made of the guys who were with us through thick and thin. You know, and I have highlighted the likes of Declan Gallagher and Craig Sibbald and Jack Walton. You know, there's so many more that I could mention, the likes of Louis Moult and Ross Graham, and these guys who were, you know, in the Championship with us and fought extremely hard to make sure that they got the club back into the league where we believe it belongs. And Dec, for me, is playing his most consistent football of what he's played in probably the last 3 or 4 seasons. Last season he had a lot of niggles, he had lots of little issues with his body, but credit to him as a player, he, you know, wanted to try and play through the pain barrier because he knew what was at stake. But he's had a good summer to rest and relax and let all them injuries heal, and he's had a great pre-season, and you know, a really fit Declan Gallagher is as good a centre back as anybody in the league.
Thank you.
Sometimes the disappointment of the result on Sunday can maybe with some players carry over to the start of the week. Has it helped that this quarter-final ties on Friday to get into park that quickly and hit the ground running for the game on Friday?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, we tend to not get too carried away when we win games, and you know, we certainly aren't too hard on ourselves when we lose the odd game as well. And that was the message on Monday when we were doing the analysis of the game against Rangers. You know, we accepted the mistakes that we made in the build up to the goal. You know, I took responsibility for my part in that because the shape of the team and the system wasn't working, and we had to change it, and we changed it pretty quickly. And the players showed real quality in terms of character and tactical ability to be able to adapt to the change of system. And you know, if we had lost the game on Sunday and never laid a glove on Rangers, and were timid and, you know, sat off them for 90 minutes, then yeah, that would be a concern. But the fact is, for, you know, the last 75 minutes of the game, we really tried to take the game to them. We really tried to get after them and get ourselves higher up the pitch. And I thought the the second half of the game, there wasn't a great deal between the two teams. I think the possession was pretty similar, which tells its own story. It's not like Rangers have had 75% of the ball in the second 45 minutes and we're pinning his back. We spent a large periods of time in Rangers territory. Just unfortunate on the day we weren't able to create anything of real worth.
What positives can you take from that performance into this game on Friday night?
Well, I think the players are in a really good place right now in terms of levels of confidence. We've been narrowly beaten by a good Rangers team. I know a lot has been made about the run of form that they're on and what have you after the back of the Celtic fixture, but prior to that game they'd beaten Ross County 6-0. So I don't think Rangers have been as bad as a lot of people have been making out. I think we all agree that Celtic are probably a little bit ahead of them at the moment, given how long that Celtic team has been together, and Brendan knows the players inside out. But we more than matched a good Rangers team over the course of the game. We've beaten some really tough opposition along the way already this season. Beaten St Mirren at home in the last round of the Cup, obviously. Beaten Hearts at Tynecastle for the first time in I think 10-12 years or something like that. So there's a lot of positives for our group to take from the way the season has started. But the important thing for me is that we show the qualities, that we're able to bounce back after a defeat, and the only way to do that is by winning the game on Friday and progressing.
Taking over 2,000 fans down to Fir Park, does it make any difference to the players the fact that they'll all be together in one stand, increasing the noise, as we spread out, increasing the noise volume and things for the players on the day?
Listen, the players are well aware of what the club means to the supporters, particularly those guys that we spoke about who have been with us for a longer period of time. And yeah, we know how much this means to them. We want to give them a semi-final of the Cup to look forward to, and we're going to need them. Away from home, it's always difficult, regardless of who you play. It's always difficult away from home, so you need to try and use any advantage you can. And I think our fans will make as much, if not more, noise than the home fans, and I think they'll be a great motivation for the players on the night.
Is Ryan Strain progressing, Jim? Is he close at all?
Yeah, he's doing great. He's actually away for a scan this afternoon, just to see how the wound is healing and to make sure that the muscle is coming together as it should be. And if we get positive feedback from the surgeon later on tonight, then we'll be able to increase his rehabilitation and step it up a little bit in terms of intensity. But he's probably another 5-6 weeks away, I would say, from actually returning to full contact training and being able to be available for selection.
Are you looking at doing anything in the free agent market at all, or are you done for now?
No, we're really satisfied with the group that we've got right now. It's very healthy competition for places at the moment, and as I said, good flexibility within the group, depending on what system we want to go from one week to the next. So we're not looking for anybody at the moment. Very, very pleased with the players that I have.